Well, good evening again. My name is Pastor Jim, First Lutheran Church here in Beaver Dam. Welcome to our Fireside chat. As maybe you've caught our last month Fireside chat, you would have learned that we've taken this program out on the road in Beaver Dam. So we visited 𝗪𝗆 last month, and our guest, actually we're visiting 𝗪𝗲𝗱 Schweiger, and he is a member of First Lutheran Church. He is a community member here in the city of Beaver Dam, and we are guests here in his shop. And Lance has a God-given ability, a talent, being given the hands of God. You'll understand what I mean by this. And but let us meet Lance. Lance, thank you for letting us come to your shop. And you have this God-given gift as a pastor. I have to say that because I know that it's true. And I want you to, if you don't mind, sharing with us what is it that this gift is. And I would like for you to tell us, did you find this gift or did this gift find you?
I think it found me, you know, because I've always been kind of partial to art and stuff. But one day I was just sitting on my cabin porch and had a knife and just started carving something out of a piece of wood, just a whole piece of wood I found, and next thing you know, I just kept going and going and going, and that's what I say, a block of wood like that. I had one of a Santa sitting in a rocking chair, and it was just a block of wood, and I said to the people, I said, here's Santa sitting in a rocking chair having a cup of coffee or a cup of hot chocolate. And then they said, what? What's the trick? I said, it's in there, you just got to carve the stuff away.
That is exactly how God sees us.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah.
It's in there. Like,
right.
This person has a good heart. You know, God sees it. It's in there. You just have to carve. What did you say? You got to carve the.
You just got to carve the stuff away. It's
the stuff, and that might be the not so good stuff, or the not the stuff that isn't used, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What a great metaphor, huh? And when did you begin carving, and when did you begin to see something very worthwhile that's trapped in a block of wood or in a stump of a tree?
Probably when I was a teenager, I guess I kind of started dabbling with things, but then probably not until I was like maybe my early 30s, I just started. I just love the way the wood feels when I'm carving it, and there's just a certain drive in me, something telling me to do it, you know.
In this shop or in a different place?
It was a different place.
Okay.
I started, yeah. You know, it's just sitting around a campfire or something, you know, chatting with friends.
Beginning to
canoeing, yeah. Used to carve sticks, walking sticks for my friends. That's kind of how it started. Walking sticks. I got one over there that I'm working on for another guy. It's a friend of mine that I always went canoeing with and camping with, and we were all from our late 20s on, and we're still all together, you know. Well, some of them are gone, but
right.
But yeah, you know, I don't know. I just feel a certain presence when I'm carving.
So you see the possibilities in a chunk of wood, perhaps. Like I think all of us would say, well, gee, you know, if I do this or carve, and I could make this, or it is in there. I just have to remove the right.
And take all the junk away.
And I think for you, in your mind's eye, you have to be able to see the possibility of what's trapped inside.
Right.
And I think that's where the gift is. That I think about how God looks at us and sees us. You know, we could just be a chunk of wood or a block of wood, but God sees the possibility, what's good in us, sees what could be freed from all the yucky waste, the stuff, the garbage, the stuff that's all around us, that God keeps stripping away, all of that unwanted, unneeded, that yucky stuff, and finds this beautiful gem trapped within us. And in God's mind's eye, God sees that, and God knows that's there. And that's got to be true with you, that otherwise, if it's not there and you know it's not there, you wouldn't go chasing, you wouldn't go carving after it, right? I mean, I think that and you said there was like this moment of I don't know, I use the words serenity or peace or in the presence of or guided by. This is you're in this sort of place that maybe you're more with one with God than any other time in life, perhaps. That God really is taking your hands and manipulating this wood and these tools to free this ego from that block of wood.
I know I felt it, you know, when I was carving the crucifix. Like something was guiding me. It was unbelievable.
And obviously when I came to the church, I heard about the break-in, and then about the amazing person who was able to carve this crucifix. You know, when we look at that, I mean, it's pretty amazing. You have to, I mean, it's when I think about like God's hands. I'm not trying to put you in an uncomfortable spot, but I think it's amazing to see, like, you know, this is God's hands that takes exactly a chunk of wood and sees something in there and removes all of the not so good and maybe the yucky stuff and finds and brings and creates this most beautiful. And this point, in this case, it's the crucifix, Jesus on the cross, and so that's the story. And you happen to be God has used your hands and given you a gift. And a mind's eye to see this incredible thing that's hidden in this block of wood.
Something guides me. You know?
And that's the story. Unfortunately, it just happens to be you, and if you like it or not is another thing. But the gem is given to you and also in you.
Right. I always say it's always there. You just have to chip all the stuff away.
Yeah.
One piece, everything. You started with a big block of wood and it just chiseled away.
Patience definitely is a virtue.
Well, absolutely. It does take patience and a lot of deep thought.
So tell us a little bit about if we could capture some of the great joys in that moment with God, or that one with God. Like, are you able to, like, I don't know if you're able to share that moment of serenity, like this is putting you on the spot, but that keeps you in that moment, that keeps calling you back to that moment, this oneness.
Just peacefulness, I guess. That's just, I guess one time when I was carving, I just had carpal tunnel surgery. My hand was really sore yet. It was only a couple of days. And when I was carving, it was just like I did not even feel that. You know, something was guiding me, telling me, this is how you have to do it, and this is, you know.
Like a deep meditation almost.
Yeah.
Like, where
it was,
Yeah.
I felt presence of something guiding me.
Yeah. And I can't help from thinking as in order to be in that moment, you also have to strip away the stuff in our daily life, the things that most people might be thinking about, like, oh, is the rain ever going to stop? Or, gee, can I mow the yard? Or is my health going to get better? Or can I pay the bills? You have to kind of strip that stuff away and let it go away in order to be in this moment of peace.
Yes.
Because peace is simply what it is. It's a place of rest, right? And most of us are trapped in all this other stuff that preoccupies us, that we can't be in this moment with God of peace and maybe even that joy that you feel. So I think that's fascinating, and I think that's gospel, I think. Where can we find some of your work? Do we have to travel great distance?
Well,
Yes?
Yeah. I got some in Chile.
Chile?
I got some things in Australia.
Australia?
Probably some things in California. Oh,
California?
It's the United States. Most of them were gifts I've given to people.
Yep.
There was one guy that would come every year at Christmas and buy a carving from me for his family, so I did a special one for him every year.
Yep.
But I'm not even sure if he lives around here anymore.
Okay.
But listen, the church, First Lutheran Church, where I have a crucifix there. So, yeah, they're pretty much.
Is this for a friend?
This is for a friend that was deceased. I was working on it in his backyard. He had cut a tree down just off the stump for me to start carving. And then unfortunately he passed away, and I asked his daughter before they sold the house, can I cut that off? And then when I get it done, I will donate it someplace in his memory, you know, a plaque on there. So it was a police officer until him there. So,
okay. Yep.
So that's the plan for that. It'll get there, you know. I mean, everything's got to be taken down probably a good inch off all the way around it, you know, maybe 2 inches. I don't know. I'm trying to make it to where it'll be lifelike, you know. But you know, so I start big and I just work my way down. So
when I started stripping furniture, like old furniture, I was very like careful at first, and then I realized the wood was pretty forgiving as long as I kind of respected it and worked with it.
Well, that's pine, that's basswood. There's different types, and they cut all different, you know. And, you know, I've got different tools for different things.
Yeah.
I've got little tiny tools here, you know, little micro tools.
You know, if you make a mistake, and I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
But you know you have this relationship with the wood.
You know, I work it down a little different.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you have this relationship and it's forgiving, and you know how to work with it and how to be forgiven, and the mistake to be not a mistake that's noticeable or whatever. There's a story about this man that was walking in. He walked into town, and they were building this big cathedral, and so there's this guy chipping away on a piece of stone, and this man said, "Well, what are you doing? Like, what are you chipping away at, and why?" And the man who was doing this chipping, he said to the man who was traveling through, he says, "Well, you see that opening way up there, way up under the, way up under the arch, way up in the steeple, way up there." He says, "Well, I'm making this fit down. I'm chipping away at this down here so it fits in up there." And the story is that God is chipping away at us and making us so we will fit in up there. And I think about, like, to ourselves, we may not feel like much, and we may not think we look like much, and we may think that we're just a screw up. But God sees something precious, and God sees something good. Yeah. And God keeps working with us and keeps chipping away at us, so we do fit in up there. And I try to see people that way. Yeah. The way God may see them. And I know it's impossible because we're human and we're not God. Right. But to get a glimpse of that, or even join, that's what's beautiful with you, is to join what God is doing, that you could see what God sees. And I think that's what God wants us to do. To see the possibilities what God sees, and to look at others that way. Yeah. And if we begin to do that, we see the beauty in people, right? Absolutely. We not see the beauty in people. How about like an instrument?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, an instrument it is just an instrument, and you see the possibilities of a song coming out of it, right?
Yep.
And then, or I was thinking how about singing? Like
singing,
like a voice is just a voice until you see the possibilities,
right.
And then you have to craft that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or making a meal. ingredients are just ingredients until.
Right.
So God is probably using us. God has given probably all of us a gift, and we just kind of have to be available to make this gift come to glory, to its perfection, to its beauty, and be willing to go with that, right? To be willing to carve away all the things that is preoccupying us, like, will I get my work done, or will I be able to, whatever keeps our minds going. We have to be able to set that aside, that we can become one with God, that we can allow God to guide us and lead us and listen to God and see the possibilities of what God has in store for us. Isn't that something?
Yeah, it is. You know, it's, you know, I pray every night to be a better person or whatever. Give me strength, and you know, it's a thank you for my gifts.
Yeah.
You know, I do.
And thank you for allowing me to share my gifts with others, right? And to be able to see the glory of God in that. And you'll see that when you look at the crucifix, that we can continue to worship there and have the cross of Christ in front of us as we sit in the chairs. But we're gonna bring this interview to a close. And I thank you so much, Lance, for allowing us to come and visit you and kind of take over your shop here for a moment. And I thank God for you, for your willingness, and for your willingness to receive this gift, and your willingness to join the Lord in what the Lord is doing.
Thank you.
And amen to that.
Thank you.
So, take care.
You bet. Thank you.
And we'll see you next month for our fireside chat. And I would just ask you to stay tuned, and we'll have another amazing story from another amazing person from First Lutheran and from Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. So take care.